Look around a crowded street today, and you'll see a spectacular variety of humans. We have different skin tones, distinct eye shapes, and hair that ranges from silky straight to tightly coiled. But underneath all those distinct external decorations, our instruction manual tells a completely different story. If you look at our DNA, the genetic code is 99.9% exactly identical across every single person on Earth. The tiny fractions of a percent that remain dictate those external differences. Yet historically, humans took that 0.1% and used it to draw hard lines, inventing rigid, artificial categories that we called races. To understand where that 0.1% actually comes from, we have to travel back 300,000 years. What we will find is that physical traits are not borders separating different types of people. They are simply ancient survival tools, engineered from a single, shared starting line. For a very long time, every human on Earth lived in the warm, sunny plains of Africa. This was our cradle, a lush environment where the sun beat down powerfully all year round. To survive under those intense rays, our DNA developed a biological countermeasure, a natural pigment called melanin. This diagram shows how that biological countermeasure works. Inside individual skin cells, melanin acts like tiny invisible umbrellas. When solar radiation hits the skin, these umbrellas pop open to deflect the incoming ultraviolet rays. By blocking the intense equatorial light, this high concentration of melanin kept the sun from breaking down essential vitamins circulating in the body. Deep, rich brown skin is humanity's foundational adaptation. It acted as a highly effective built-in suit of armor that kept our ancestors safe and healthy. Around 60,000 years ago, human groups began to migrate away from the equator, walking into the colder, cloudier environments of northern Asia and Europe. In these new lands, the dark skin that saved them in Africa created a biological problem. Our bodies need a small amount of sunlight to manufacture vitamin D, which builds strong bones. In the north, heavy melanin shielding blocked out too much of that scarce sunlight. This map shows the evolutionary response. Starting at the equator, the data points highlight deep brown skin tones, optimized for maximum UV defense. As populations settled in moderate climates like the Mediterranean, their bodies dialed back the melanin. This created a flexible balance of olive and tan tones, offering enough protection while still letting in enough light to produce vitamins. Reaching the extreme, cloudy north, human bodies stopped producing large amounts of melanin almost completely. Very fair skin evolved to act as a biological solar panel, soaking up whatever faint sunlight was available. Skin wasn't the only thing that adapted. In places like the vast, freezing, snowy plains of Siberia, entirely different survival challenges emerged. The epicanthic fold, often called a monolid eye shape, evolved as a biological windbreaker. That extra layer of skin protected the eyes from freezing winds and the severe, blinding glare of sunlight bouncing off the snow. Human noses and hair operate as physical climate control systems, too. Wide noses help cool down hot, humid air before it hits the lungs, while narrow noses warm and moisten freezing air. Tightly coiled hair creates a cooling layer of air off the scalp, while straight hair traps heat close to the head in the cold. Our varied faces are highly specialized environmental survival suits, crafted by a shared genetic intelligence to conquer different corners of the globe. Humans try to categorize these adaptations into rigid racial boxes, but nature operates completely differently. If you were to walk from the southern tip of Africa all the way to the top of Europe, you would never see a sudden change in human physical appearance. This map shows how human biology actually works. Across global geography, physical traits fade into one another continuously, blending like a sunset without any country lines or distinct borders. Over the last 500 years in the Americas, previously separated branches of the human family met again. Their traits are now blending together in a process of admixture, creating new, diverse combinations. Physical diversity is a fluid, connected gradient of human movement. It completely invalidates the idea of separate, boxed-in racial categories. Today, most of us don't rely on these physical traits for wild survival. Instead, they serve as beautiful badges of our ancestors' historical adventures. While our biology is an unbroken spectrum, the cultures our ancestors built in isolated environments are distinct treasures. High in places like the Himalayas, communities developed high-endurance traditions and quiet strength to thrive in the thin air. Out in the Pacific, Polynesian islanders developed unparalleled ocean navigation skills, building lives and thriving on the open water. And tropical cultures pass down vibrant, high-energy traditions and celebrations that reflect the warmth of the equatorial environments they came from. Yet beneath these diverse cultural traditions and physical badges, our core internal mechanics remain entirely identical. A laugh sounds the same everywhere, saltwater tears are universal, and our brains process joy with the exact same chemistry. As borders dissolve and families blend together, we are bringing these histories to a giant global potluck, creating a newly unified community. When we look at physical differences, we are not looking at a color or a race. We are looking at a fellow member of the human family, wearing a colorful chapter of our shared history.